already?
We don't see it that way. At this point in the season, we're trying to get back to our fundamentals and revisit those so we can continue making progress as far as ourselves. But at the same time, if you visit the last game that we just watched, they played well versus Northwest State, and their offense has stuff that we're going to have to prepare for as far, defensive line talking here. Their offensive line is giving us new stuff, and they played in Northwest State well. They lost towards the end, but they're definitely not a team that we're overlooking this week.
You guys have had some games already this year to where you dive in, you blow up the offensive line early in the game, and it just continues throughout. When you guys are getting that penetration, especially early in the first quarter, do you see that just wear on their faces throughout the game that they know you're going to keep coming?
I don't know about how they feel, but our mindset is to hurt them early and often. We want to make sure that we're playing on their heel line. That way, that will disrupt the running game for them as well as their passing game. We hope that throughout the season we can continue that since we emphasize that so much. Their coaching staff does. And I guess we hope that as we're doing that, we're helping our DBs because we can get in the quarterback's prep face. And since our DBs are playing so much man coverage this year, it really helps them out if we're able to get to the quarterback's face and disrupt his passes.
Bobby, so far this season, you guys as a team have taken kind of mild leads into halftime. Do you feel like it's important to extend that early this week, being that they're the underdogs? You don't want to leave them, hanging around and make them think that they can win the game?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of our goal every week. I feel like these past few games, we've been shooting ourselves in the foot with turnovers and bad penalties in the red zone. We're going to make an emphasis this week during practice to make sure we do everything right and make sure we better ourselves as an offense.
Guys, what do they do well on film that you've seen? They're the worst scoring defense, they're the worst scoring offense. So, there's got to be some good here. So what have you guys seen on film that they do well that you have to plan for?
You want to take that?
From what I saw, their linebackers fly around. They look very physical up front on the D-line. So, yeah.
Their offense, their quarterback does a good job at distributing the ball. They're put in a lot of passing situations, so we've seen them pass the ball a lot. They tend to get the ball off pretty quick, which can put pressure on a defensive line because we can't really have a big of an influence on those passes since they're off so quick. And that'll challenge our DBs as well to make sure they cover down early. Otherwise, if they catch a quick one, there's always the potential to break a tackle and then have a big gain at that. So they're definitely good at those things.
Obviously, you guys want to continue going on. You want to win a back-to-back national championships, but to kind of go along with that and at your place in Northwest history, Marshall mentioned you guys are 5 games away from tying the longest win streak in school history. Does that stay in the back of your mind of let's not have a letdown so we can come out and continue on toward that goal throughout this season, even though we're playing a lowly team like Northeastern?
Yeah, definitely. We were actually just talking in our position group, and at this point in the season, every game, even though it might not be against a great opponent, it's still a big game because with our region in the playoffs, if you have one loss and you're lucky enough to get to the playoffs, you're not going to be playing at home every game. And that's a huge point of emphasis for us to have home field advantage. So we're not necessarily looking into the future, but we're looking one game at a time, knowing that each game, if we play the way we can and do our job, that'll get us a victory, which will lead us into our main goal.
Defensively, obviously, you guys have given up so few rushing yards the last 2 weeks, but you're ranked right now top in passing yards allowed. What have you seen from the secondary, and also getting pressure on the quarterback that's really allowed you guys to stop the passing game, and also stuff in the route?
Well, it goes with, as I was talking earlier, our point to try to get to the offensive lineman's heels and get them playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and that allows us to get in the quarterback's face. And since our DBs are playing so much man, they're kind of on their own island sometimes, which credit to them, they've been doing great at that thus far this season. So anything we can do to help disrupt the quarterback's ball helps a lot because we're not playing that much zone, so that we're not getting very many turnovers on defense, which is kind of alarming to us. But at the same time, we're getting a lot of 3 and outs, because they're not able to complete those short, quick third down passes for a first down because our DBs are playing so strong.
Yeah, the DBs are really, they have a lot of pass breakups, especially early on Saturday. What have you seen? How do you feel like they're coming together as a team?
I think they're doing great. You know, last year we had the Dixon brothers, which was awesome. But this year, Travis, Bryce Enyard, Tyshawn, and Jared Fox, they're doing great back there. You know, with them, they're playing man, which is tough for them to ask, but they're succeeding at it thus far. And it really helps with the defense when they're able to bump and play man on the receivers. It gets the quarterback off his first read, which takes more time for him to throw the ball, which allows the defensive line to get to him and hopefully get a sack or get a hit on the QB. So we work together in that aspect where they're able to play up tight on him and give us time to get the quarterback.
Speaking of the Dixon brothers, they play each other this weekend. Are you going to try to find a way to watch that game?
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I mean, it'll be fun. I know I watched, it was Brian versus New Orleans, or for New Orleans the other night. That was fun to watch him play. I saw him on the sideline and in the game, so I don't know who I'll root for, but...
What do you think that means for the university? I mean, it hardly ever happens, you know, at the D1 level. That two twins are playing against each other. I don't know if it's happened a few times in history, but what does that mean for the Bearcat program that something like that is happening?
It's great. I mean, we've had players in the past like Dave Tollefson, who won a couple Super Bowls with the Giants, and that was awesome since he was a Bearcat for 3 years. And now with the Dixons, I think it just shows that we have talented guys that can come through this program, and they've definitely left their mark, how they've helped elevate our DBs and our athletic abilities, and I think, you know, we're all going to be rooting for them, and hopefully they represent well. I'm sure they will.
Robert, you kind of had a couple injuries. Set you back early in the season, but you've got games under your belt. You feel like you're hitting the mid-season stride where you kind of want to be at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the fact that I had a good game last week just shows what my hard work has showed, I guess. A lot of my mental preparation during the weeks that I didn't play got me prepared for this game last week and get me prepared for the season. So I think that helped a lot, and I feel good right now. So.
It seems like you've been kind of that number two guy throughout your career at this point, but with Phil being out in these last couple of games, you really carried the load for this team. What is it like right now being number one in the backfield?
Well, I mean, the way our offense is set up, we don't really truly have a number one guy. We all rotate throughout the game. But I mean, I don't know. As long as I'm doing my part, helping my team win, no matter where I am on the depth chart, I feel good about that. And I'm happy that we're winning, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah, with the young guys stepping up the way they are, it seems like Cam's kind of a similar runner to yourself. You feel like you kind of take him under your wing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, being knowing where he's from and what he's going through, you know, I talk to him sometimes, and I just try to let him know, do his thing, make sure you take full advantage of all your opportunities, and I think he did that this week. And I'm real proud of him for doing that.
Talk about being, from California. A lot of these guys are from around this area. Do you feel like you bring a little bit different, football mindset or just personality in general to the group?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they like to win, I like to win, so we go hand in hand. That's what I was like. That's the one thing that brought me here and made me want to come here was their winning attitude and their winning mindset. So I think I fit in just right.
What about obviously being from California, it's kind of a reputation of being more relaxed. Do you feel like you're maybe a little more relaxed than some of the other guys?
I mean, yeah, at times, Coach preaches lead in your own way, and I'm not one of those rah-rah guys. I do my thing on the field. I work hard and do my thing like that. So I mean, yeah, I can see me being more relaxed in that kind of sense, but I still work hard to make sure I help my team out winning.
Do you out-of-state guys, maybe some of the other guys are kind of familiar with the show, do you feel like you guys kind of make your own a little bit being from outside the state?
No, I'm cool with everybody on the team. When I first got here, I was shy at first, didn't really say much to people, but the family atmosphere, they brought me in, they welcomed me with open arms, so I became cool with everybody on the team.
What's it like being, do you really feel like Maryville's a second home now to you, not being able to go home that much during breaks like some other days or something like that?
I mean, yeah, now I do. Like the fact that I've been here all summer and like barely go home at all, like being friends with these guys, you know, they make me feel comfortable not going home. And like at times I want to go home, but like I'm fine here for right now, so it doesn't really matter.
We're talking about, the running back group, being that there's four of you sharing carries, how close are you guys, off the field, things like that? What kind of things do you guys do together?
I mean, we hang out on the weekends as far as like after practice and stuff. I mean, we have our own, like, we have to do homework, so we don't really hang out and stuff like that, but we're cool. We like to see each other do good no matter who's in the game. Like when I was down, I was motivating them guys to do good, and when Phil was down, he was motivating us. So as a group, we like to see each other do good. It's not one trying to up the other person.
More questions, guys?
You and Phil, when you were out, you talk about how you get, like, with you being out early, what kinds of conversations did you have, and now that he's been injured, you guys kind of help each other through that?
Yeah, like, just like I was for him, he's pretty much my eyes on the sideline. He let me know stuff that I probably won't see on the field. So when I come off the field on the sideline, he'll let me know what reads to make and what the defense may be doing. Just little stuff like that.
Thank you, guys.
AD, obviously with last week's win, what are some of the things from that game that stuck out to you, the performances of your team
Sure.
that stuck out to you?
Well, the number one thing, I thought we played really well defensively again. We went back and I believe tallied it up, and it's not always about sacking the quarterback, although we did do that well, but I think we actually physically hit him 20 times in the game, and that's a lot. And so that puts a lot of pressure on a quarterback and an offense when you can get to a kid like that. So, I thought the whole day the tone was really set by our defense. I think our special teams were really solid, again, other than our field goal PAT unit, but we blocked and tackled really well on special teams. I thought our coverage team was phenomenal. If you look at their average starting field position, it wasn't very good. And so other than that, offensively, put up some really good numbers, but the thing is we got to capitalize and finish in the red zone. We got to stop turning the football over.
After playing UCM, UCO, teams that want to make a push, get to the playoffs, Northeastern State, having a rough season to this point, do you say anything different to rally the guys, kind of get them up for this ball game this week?
Well, it's Military Appreciation Week, and that means a lot to our kids. Between the number of kids we have in our program, some of them have active duty military people in their family, and or they know people, and so it's always a big week for us. We'll play patriotic music if you want to get re-energized in America. Come to practice the next few days and come on down and enjoy it with us. But no, I don't ever worry about that. It's coming off a long road trip. We're going to be at home. Our kids enjoy being at home, being together, getting a chance to play in front of their community, their university, and their family and friends. And we're trying to get better. The thing I talk to them about is we've got to correct the turnovers, and that starts with thinking about it, working on our ball security. We've got to try to generate more turnovers. Again, you got to talk about it and then go out and try to practice it. And we really got to shore up our field goal team. And so those are going to be the main focus of this week's practice. And just take a worksman's approach and try to get better.
Would you borrow one of those Bryce Young American flag bandanas to wear for the game?
No, I would not. I'll leave the flair up to him. He's got plenty of the American flag flair.
When you talk about practicing and trying to create turnovers, what are some of the things that you can do to be better prepared to do just that in a game?
Well, I think just in the point of practice, we don't ever go live this time of year in practice, and so as a defender, you have to work on thudding, and if you're the second or third guy there, you got to work on popping the ball. And so you just got to focus on it and try to finish it in practice where you're physically getting in there and popping the ball, because it's like anything else. If you see yourself doing it in practice and you're successful in practice, you'll carry it over into a game. That's the biggest thing we need to work on there.
Defensively, obviously the rushing numbers have really stood off the page, but you guys are actually leading the nation in passing yards a lot right now. But what have you seen from the secondary, and what about your pass rush is really allowing, or keeping teams from throwing the ball?
Well, I think our guys are doing a really good job in the back end of not giving up big plays. Our defense would probably argue with me on that. They're never satisfied, but when you do what we do defensively, you're going to give a couple of those fades up. But when a team's going to consistently try to throw a sideline fade on you and make a living on that, I've never seen anybody successfully be able to do that for a 3-hour game, 60 minutes. And so I think they're doing a good job of limiting those big plays, and then we're doing a good job of covering down. We're not having to blitz people necessarily to get pressure. And when you can get pressure with 4 guys, you can keep a set of eyes on the quarterback in case he scrambles, and you can keep a set of eyes in the middle of the field looking for in routes and crossers and trying to get some interceptions. So it just allows us to be really flexible with our coverages.
It seemed like last week, especially early, there were a lot of pass breakups.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that group's really starting to mesh?
Yeah, I do. Again, I'm just being honest with you. Our defensive back coach wasn't happy with the way they played. He felt like they had too many mental errors, and I know he's chomping at the bit to get back onto the practice field. But me as a head coach, from what I step back and see, I feel like they're getting better, and I feel like they're doing a good job of competing. And we just got to cut down on those mental errors, and maybe by cutting down those mental errors, we'll get some more interceptions.
What do you think you guys need to focus on to be able to start finishing off some of those drives that you finished off last year?
Just sense of urgency in the red zone, understanding the situation, how the game changes. I think we need to think about taking care of the football more and being smarter with the football. I almost feel like a little bit of that issue right now is generated because we're so good on defense, and our guys have so much confidence in our defense, and I do too, but it's not a license to be reckless with the football. I just think, we practice it a lot, and we've always been pretty good in the red zone, but finishing the drive, and then, we got to be able to know that, hey, if we don't get 6 points, we're going to be able to kick a field goal. And again, those are things we got to work on right now.
Coach, looking at Northeastern State, push is more into the ranked double overtime. Do you feel like maybe they're kind of starting to come around a little bit, even though they're bottom of the conference in points scored and points allowed?
Yeah, if you read the post-game stuff, their kids are really confident even after that loss. They feel like they really turned the corner as a football program last week. And so, they had a really good offensive output, and they are probably playing, even with a loss, they're probably playing with more confidence, feel like they can come up and do some things. But again, it's not just this week, it's this time of year, the focus that we try to put is on ourselves. How can we get better as a football team? And we feel like if we will do that and commit to the process, then we have enough talent. We're going to be in every game, every Saturday, if we do that.
Bobby, sometimes when a guy sits out the first 2 games like that, you think it might take him a game or two to get going, but he's really in mid-season form as much as anyone right now. What have you seen from him?
Well, again, I think he's being a complete player. The things that don't show up on the stat sheet is he's doing a pretty good job on his blitz pickup, and we're running the quarterback enough where we're asking him to block. He sprung Randy on we call it a G play, but when Randy ran up the sideline Schmidt on that long run, Bobby made a great block at the point of attack to spring him. And so I think he's being a complete player. And then his check down passes that he caught yesterday, Brady did a great job of looking deep to intermediate to come into his check down. And again, it's easier said than done. The running back has to find a window, and he has to know he's got to put a lot of trust in the quarterback. When the quarterback knows when he looks there, it's the final option, and you better be there for me. And I think he's doing a good job of that too.
Obviously, he's competing for carries with a sophomore and 2 freshmen, but do you feel like he's really taken some of those guys under his wing a little bit?
Yeah, I really do. I just feel like, Bobby's – the thing that I'm happy with right now is Bobby is focusing on Bobby getting better. And sometimes it just kind of plays into our mantra, I think, is he's being unselfish right now. And I'm proud of him for that because, again, you can say what you want. That's not always the case in football programs where you have a third-year senior redshirt in our program who's down here splitting carries with a couple of freshmen and a sophomore. That's not always okay with kids, but it's okay with him because he cares about us winning. And so that's what I'm most pleased with him right now.
Coming from California, obviously when he got here, might not have been as familiar with the program and things like that, but how much do you feel like he's really fit in, and what does he bring that's a little different, maybe like mindset-wise?
Yeah, I feel like he's done a good job of fitting in. It's kind of a unique situation. He's a huge Chiefs fan, and he grew up in San Francisco. So when I was talking to him initially in the recruiting process, I told him we were an hour from Kansas City, and we play in Arrowhead Stadium every year, and he just couldn't believe that. And it was a neat deal after he got online and looked it up and called back. So I think it took him a year to adjust to the cold weather a little bit, and he says I'm acclimatized now, and he runs well in cold weather according to him. But I think he's just a good team guy, and he enjoys being around our kids, and he's just fitting in with those other 20 seniors right now.
Do you think he brings a little bit more of that California relaxed mindset than some of the other guys? Does that help at all?
No, I don't think so. I think Bobby's a pretty intense guy during practice, and I think he's pretty competitive. So I haven't spent enough time in California. I'd be able to comment on that anyway. So no, I think he's a pretty intense guy.
The Dixon brothers play each other this weekend.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get in front of a TV? And
When do they play? Sunday?
Sunday?
Yeah, no, but Sunday's a huge work day. We usually work from about 11 to midnight on Sunday, so no, I'll TiVo it, but I'll definitely talk to him before the game. I'll get a phone call into him for sure and wish him luck. And I tell you, I had that question a lot. The thing that they're doing for us right now, they're giving our program a lot of exposure, but they're really helping us in recruiting with Florida kids. And just as far as their name, they're very well known in Florida right now. And so when we are calling recruits down there, they're like, Northwest Missouri State, that's where the Dixons are from, right? And so you're kind of like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And so we're really pleased with what they're helping us with there.
You got a prediction on the game?
You know what? You call me crazy. There's really one NFL team I care about. It's Kansas City Chiefs, and I don't follow anybody else. I really don't. I couldn't tell you who's winning and who's losing right now. Could not. So I don't even know their records. What are their records?
They're both 1-3.
1-3. Well, I make no predictions on that.
Did you see Brian get a touchdown caught on him?
I did see the replay of that, yeah. You know, I said to people it's better to be on the field getting a touchdown thrown on you and sitting on the sideline not doing anything, because you're getting playing time. And if you're logging minutes in the NFL, that's always a good thing. Means you're doing something right.